Good afternoon, I'm Gurpreet Singh and welcome to the 3pm Solent Sports News Bulletin. We begin with football and Southampton return to Premier League action this weekend as they travel to a big rival tomorrow. Liverpool is the destination on Saturday and it could be... Okay. We're just having some technical problems here. We're just going to get set up. And we begin with football and Southampton return to Premier League action this weekend as they travel to a big rival tomorrow. Liverpool is the destination on Saturday and it could be a feisty affair considering the recent rivalry between the two. Many of Southampton's stars have been poached by Liverpool in the last few years and Saints will be out for revenge and 3 points tomorrow. However, 3 points could only be the start of what Liverpool take. Centre-back Virgil van Dijk had tried to force a move to Anfield in the summer, but his club managed to keep hold of the Dutchman. Saints boss Mauricio Pellegrino admits Virgil van Dijk's future at St Mary's is still uncertain.
We got a lot of players that are important. Most of the club in the world want a lot of players from our club. Virgil is one of these, but we had to be focused in our job.
And I'm now joined by Peter Howard, a former Solent student and current journalist at the Daily Echo. Hello, Peter.
Can you hear us? I should be able to. Is it on loudspeaker? Ask one more time.
Hello, Peter. Peter, can you hear me? We seem to be having some problems there, but we'll move on. That may be, and we've sent one of our reporters out into the town of Southampton to ask the Southampton fans what they feel their game will be like.
Well, I say certainly need to win. I wouldn't say Liverpool are a bad side. Bit inconsistent, mine. Saints are very inconsistent. Saints used to win games like this. It may be a draw.
I reckon it's going to kick off 3-0 to Saints, 8-0 to Liverpool.
I don't know, 2-1 Saints.
Goalless. Yeah, there's a bit of a rivalry now with all the stuff that's gone on in the past, obviously, but we'll see tomorrow.
If Coutinho is playing, if Firmino is playing, Sadio Mane is playing, that's probably one of the best forwards in the league, so that means that the Saints going to lose, 100%.
Elsewhere in the Premier League, Tottenham will be taking on Arsenal in one of the biggest derbies in the country. Fans from both sides have been arguing for years over who is the bigger club, and celebrities have also been getting involved. TV personality Piers Morgan told former Spurs chairman Lord Alan Sugar that no Arsenal fan are feeling confident about the upcoming fixture.
I don't want publicity to match him because if not, you know what happened after.
We can't beat a team that doesn't play to win.
Let me finish my point.
I'd like you to attack us
I'm
on Saturday.
Sure. Here's my point.
Then we've got a chance of winning.
I'd like you to shut up.
All right.
So here's my point. I don't think many Arsenal fans believe now that Arsenal are a better team than Tottenham.
Spurs boss Mauricio Pochettino has been watching what he says about star man Christian Eriksen. Eriksen was in top form midweek, hitting a hat-trick to send Denmark into the World Cup, but his club manager doesn't want other sides approaching the Dane.
I don't want publicity to match him because if not, you know what happened after. The manager put in the focus to the other clubs to Christian. I don't want to say that this fantastic player is okay. He's an average player. It's better, no?
It looks like he's still on the line.
Jose Mourinho confirmed today during his press conference that Paul Pogba and Zlatan Ibrahimovic will both be returning to the Manchester United squad tomorrow, whereas Tony Pulis has been asked if he should be shown the door at West Brom. Pulis has reacted to this in typical fashion.
There's a referee there to look at that, and that hasn't been the case. So he's obviously looking at
People say, the football's been boring, it's been this, that and the other. The last 2 home games has seen 9 goals scored. You look at the league and you can pick 4 or 5 teams who've scored less goals than us. And one of those teams is my hometown Bournemouth, and everybody tells me what great football Bournemouth play. It's just what you have to put up with.
England's women have failed to bring home the Ashes as they slumped to defeat by the hands of Australia. Our cricket correspondent Jaleh Dinsha has more on the game and the problems England faced prior to the Ashes.
The Lionesses have fallen short to Australia today in the Ashes after posting a score of 133. The Aussies managed to win in only 16 overs, with Beth Mooney being the standout batsman on 86 not out. England captain Heather Knight said the poor start to the game led to an inevitable win to Australia.
Losing 4 wickets in the power play obviously doesn't win you many games, but really proud of Danny White and how she fought and got us back in the game, and credit to Australia. Beth Mooney played an outstanding innings, really took the game away from us, batted brilliantly, and everything we tried, we just couldn't get her out, so credit to Australia and for they were the better team today.
But congratulations to Australia, who were deserved winners. We will now see how the Englandmen perform against the men in yellow next week in their first test of the Ashes at the Gabba in Brisbane. But now, back to you, Gurpreet.
Thank you, Jaleh, for that. A former Olympic champion will be moving on into a new sport. Sir Bradley Wiggins will be making his debut in competitive rowing at the British Indoor Championship. He will compete in London's Olympic Velodrome on the 9th of December. The 5-time Olympic cycling champion and Tour de France winner retired from cycling in December 2016. And on to tennis. A new broadcasting deal with ATP gives a new link between the sport and the word net. Amazon Prime have signed an exclusive 4-year deal from 2019 to show 37 events. ATP President Chris Commode believes it could be one of the most successful deals of the decade. In ATP World Tour Finals action taking place right now, David Goffin leads Dominic Thiem by 1-0. Goffin found himself 3-0 down in the first set, but managed to battle back and take an initial lead over the Austrian. The victor of this tie will head into the semi-finals. And on to boxing now. A British star will be making his much anticipated return to the ring on Saturday night. Carl Frampton was last seen in the ring back in January, but is returning to take on Horacio Garcia this weekend. Frampton's second fight of the year will be extra special as it takes place in his hometown of Belfast. In a possible boxing mega bout, Anthony Joshua's next opponent could be decided very soon. WBO champion Joseph Parker expects to come up against Joshua in the next year, but wants to be paid well should the bout take place. Parker is looking for a respectable 40% of the cut, but promoter Eddie Hearn's initial offer was reportedly shockingly low. On to rugby. An Australian rugby union coach, Michael Cheika, has accused England players of bullying in the past, but England's coach Eddie Jones has hit back. Jones claims his team will be playing hard but fair tomorrow when the two sides meet, and seemed confused at Cheika's comments.
There's a referee there to look at that, and that hasn't been the case, so he's obviously looking at a different video from everyone else.
Why do you think he's come out and said this now?
I've got no idea. You'd have to ask Michael. I've got his number here if you want to ring him.
And we now go to our reporter James Pointer, who has more on the football in the local region.
Well, in Bournemouth in the Premier League, they will take on Huddersfield at home this weekend. That kicks off tomorrow at 3 o'clock. And when we take another look at Portsmouth and how they're doing at the minute, they'll be taking on Southend, and they'll also be at home this weekend. That kicks off tomorrow at 3 o'clock. Oh, he's not actually doing it now. What? So Eddie Howe will be talking to us about England. Hang in for that. And Eddie Howe will be talking to us about Jermaine Defoe for England.
I think you need a mixture of players to go to the World Cup. And again, I'm not saying or trying to tell Gareth anything. He will make his own decisions. But I think everyone will recognise that you need leaders, experience. And from Jermaine's perspective, someone that can change a game, come on late in a game potentially and nick a goal. Who better than him?
Going back to rugby here, moving to Rugby League, and Australia have booked their place in the World Cup semi-finals this afternoon after hammering Samoa 46-0. Valentine Holmes scored a record 5 tries in a single World Cup game. Next Friday's semi-finals could be against New Zealand or Fiji. A strong news day in rugby as a club director has been handed a 6-week stadium ban after accusing a referee of making it up as he goes along. Sale Shark director Steve Diamond made disrespectful comments after their defeat by Exeter Chiefs. Diamond won't be a part of the next match against Leicester and can't enter the stadium for the following 3 games. And finally to golf now, as a former world number 1 has been ruled out for the year with severe chest pains. Englishman Luke Donald was taking part in the RSM Classic this week before being taken to hospital and withdrawn from the competition. Despite being given the all clear, Donald has taken this opportunity to recharge and regroup. That's all from us now. I'll be back in an hour. Remember, you can keep up to date on our website, solentjournalism.co.uk. We're also on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram.